I want to talk to you today, and I want to talk to you and not your team, not your clients, not your peers, just you. Because if you're anything like the leaders that I've worked with every day, my clients, you've been carrying a weight that most people don't even see. And what is that? You're the one constantly putting out fires, answering questions, solving problems, catching the balls everyone else dropped, because if you don't, who will take care of it? Or maybe who will do it and take care of it the way you want it to be taken care of? The truth I want you to sit with is you didn't build this business, your business, to become chief firefighter. You've built a beautiful business because you had a beautiful vision. And somewhere between the late night emails, staying up super late, the hiring headaches, the chaos on the day to day, and the constant noise, guess what? That vision got really, really dim, where it almost dissipated. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that today. How to make the shift from reactive to strategic, from putting out fires to lightning a fire that other rally behind you. And let's talk about stepping in to the real role of the visionary CEO that you are. I want you to ask yourself something, and I want you to be extremely brutally honest. How much of your day is spent reacting versus creating? And are you running a business, or maybe how about is it running you? This is the first shift, is awareness. Until you start to see the patterns, you can't break them. And what I've seen over and over with my business clients is that most CEOs don't have a strategy problem. They have a control problem because they feel it's their business, and if they don't get heavily involved, that they want to make sure that it's going to get done right, or they're scared that it's going to be done wrong, or there's going to be a failure and you didn't hire the right people, and so on and so forth. It's so deep that you're constantly in the trenches, and then you've forgotten the highest value isn't really being the smartest and the fastest problem solver. It's about being the one with all the answers. And yes, I completely get it. Letting go is so scary. I've been there numerous times, especially when it's your name on the building. You're all over social media. Your reputation is on the line and your vision is on the table. But here's the thing, you cannot lead a movement while micromanaging the machinery. I want to say that again. You cannot lead a movement while micromanaging machinery. You cannot build something scalable while being the engine, the oil, the steering wheel, the GPS, period. Like everything. You can't control it all on your own. So let's talk about why this is happening in your business, why smart, capable leaders get stuck in this sector of their business. It's not because you're not good at what you do as a CEO, it's because you're too good at too many things. Have you thought about that? You know how to jump in and make things happen, and you probably saved the day more times than you can count. But every time you do, you train your team to expect that you're going to fix it. Trust me, I've walked this path numerous times and learned the hard way. And you train yourself to really believe that if you don't fix it, it won't get done right. That is not leadership. That is not a CEO. You know what that is? That's burnout and slow motion. There's no other way to really chop it up and how this burnout can really affect your business. And now, how do we shift and have a different mindset with this? How do you stop being the firefighter that you are and start being the visionary again? Here's where we begin, because that visionary started before you started the business. You had a beautiful vision. You knew exactly what you wanted in the business, what type of business that you wanted to create. You were so super excited until you started to build it. And then you're building and your company was growing. And then you had so many moving parts that you got so distracted that you felt like you had to be that firefighter to just clean up everything, have control over everything. And then how did that go? You must reclaim your time like life depends on it, because in many ways, it sure does. This is your business. Your time is most valuable when you're working on and not in the business. If you're spending it on low leverage tasks, you're bankrupting your future. So here's the challenge for you CEOs out there. For the next 5 days, I want you to track where your time is really going, not where you think it's going, but where is it going on the day to day? Just track it for 5 days. Write it all down. Okay. I don't want you to think about it all and you think you already have the answers, but I want you to write it down because each and every day is going to be different. And I guarantee you that you will be completely shocked. You're going to notice how often you're solving the same problems, answering the same questions, putting out the same fires, solving the same problems, filling the gaps on situations. Then you will find out that you are so busy, you have no time to fix the problem, and that your vision goes on the back burner. And even though you have this great vision and you're feeling confident and motivated that this is what you want to do for your business, and then the day starts and then you get sucked in again. And then guess what? That visionary goes in the back burner again. That is not a leadership problem. That is a systems problem. That is a micromanagement problem. And we fix it by building trust, tools, and team capacity. The right team, the right people in the right positions, not throwing people in the positions that you think that they would be good at, but really having the people that are managing the day-to-day operations make those decisions for you. So let go to grow. You need to let go to grow your business. And I know it's easier said than done, but visionary leadership isn't about knowing every darn detail. It is about being obsessed with direction and not ruthless about the alignment, right? It is about obsession with the direction for your company and completely ruthless about the alignment. You have to get comfortable with delegating outcomes, not the tasks. That means setting the vision, communicating the destination to your team, and then empowering your people to figure out the best route to get there. And if it's not your way, it is okay. If you're hiring the right people for the right positions and still doing all the thinking, you're wasting payroll and burning yourself out, period, the end. So I want you to fall back in love with your vision, falling back in love with the vision that you were so super excited that you had this beautiful vision to start this beautiful company. I want you to remember that, because the dream that got you into in this first place, right? The dream that got you into this in the first place, the mission couldn't stop thinking about. that is your true job. That is your passion, is to constantly focus working on and not in your business. The more you grow, the more your role evolves from doer to vision holder. You don't just execute anymore. You're not constantly putting out the fires. You're not constantly being involved. You're not constantly being micromanaged. Like you're micromanaging your team. Because once you let go, you'll start to expand. You'll have that beautiful vision back again. You don't just plan the next week. You imagine the next era. You imagine how your company is growing, visualizing exactly where you want it to be, because it can be that way. But who is in charge of that? You, the CEO. And when you live in the space, your energy shifts. When you live in this beautiful visionary space, the energy shifts. You become more creative. Your decisions sharpen, and your team finally gets to rise above, feeling that they have a seat at the table, feeling that pressure of being micromanaged dissipate because you stepped out of the way. And that is not ego. That's building the evolution of your business. And so I want to say something that you may need to hear. Okay. You're not broken. You're just overloaded. You're starting to burn out. You're losing focus. You're losing motivation. And you don't need a complete overhaul of everything. You don't need to start all over. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You need to reset the identity and self reflection, because no matter anything that we do, I don't care how successful you are, if you feel that you're not successful, whatever the mindset is that you think of yourself is where it begins. So if you want to have a successful business, you can. How do you get there? You're not just a founder. You're not just a hustler. You're not just the fixer. You're the visionary CEO of your company, and the role requires you to let go of things to create great ones, to create the beautiful vision. So that means, one, building leadership underneath you, not just employees. Big difference. Two, having hard conversations that remove bottlenecks. If it's the bottlenecks and hard decisions within the process systems or the people, whoever it is. Three, I want you making decisions based on where you're going, not where have you been. If we constantly live in the current, focusing on maybe some mistakes or failures or what have you, guess what? Stop looking in the rearview mirror and keep going. And four, trust in yourself enough to pause instead of always feeling that you have to do it all. So let me ask you one question. What becomes possible when you finally stop managing the chaos and start architecting the reality and with the clarity of your business? When your days stop being blurred of urgency and start being aligned with intention and visionary. When your team stops leaning on you for direction because you've already built a culture that knows how to lead. That's the work. That's the shift. You can do it. Just let go. Let your team, the leaders that you hired, be the foundation of your operation. Build and trust. So if you're listening to this and you're nodding your head, you're thinking, that is me. I'm in the weeds and I don't know how to get out. Let me remind you, you don't need to figure it out. You don't need to figure it out all the day, but you do need to decide that staying stuck is no longer acceptable in your business. because leadership is lonely and sometimes we feel like we're in our own island. You don't know who to lean to, but it doesn't have to be that way. And clarity, it's not a luxury, guys. It's your responsibility. So, your next step may be hiring support, realigning your team, or how about carving out time to think again and not just reacting? Whatever it is, make the move. Take small steps. Don't feel like you have to reinvent the whole wheel. You've already done the work, you've built the foundation. Now it's time to rise up and lead from the level that you were meant for, from firefighter to visionary. Visionary, the CEO of your company. If this spoke to you today and it resonated and it was aligned, I'd love to hear what landed for you. What did you learn from this episode? And if you're ready to have a deeper conversation about the embodiment of the shift in your leadership, visit empowerwithnancy.com to schedule a discovery call with me. Remember, you have full control of the will and you can make anything happen. You got this. With gratitude, Nancy.